I'm going to move on next to something truly important, and that is the continuing vaccine scepticism among many people, albeit that the so-called scepticism or hesitancy or whatever we want to call it among young people has halved. The number of young adults reluctant to get a jab has almost halved since early June. This is fantastic news. But you have a particularly interesting perspective on this.
I do, and we were just talking about it in the break. I'm always fascinated by people who say, because I'm healthy, I don't need to get the vaccine. Because I'm fit and healthy, I don't need to get the vaccine. And I've thought about this quite a lot, and obviously when I fell ill back in March last year, there was no vaccine option. And I fell ill at the age of 38, and I've often wondered what would have been the effect had I fallen ill at 28 and the same thing happened. And it would have been much more devastating because of all the things that I've managed to do in my 30s, whether it's, and I've been very fortunate to be able to have run marathons, and I did a great cycling trip, and I had the job at LBC.
Hang on a minute. How many marathons?
This was 3 or so. But those, none of those things. And I don't say this for the violins, and I don't say this to. But they were all. I was very lucky, and I got to do those things in my 30s. I've got no option of doing those things in my 40s.
Because of the continuing consequence of your very serious bout of COVID.
And I would, if I'd had the option, I've said this to friends before.
And if you had been vaccinated, it wouldn't have been anywhere near as serious.
Anywhere near as serious as a 38-year-old man.
Yes.
To have been vaccinated, I wouldn't have ended up in hospital. I wouldn't have ended up with pneumonia. And I would give to have gone back and for the vaccine to have been available and to been able to have the vaccine before I got ill, I'd give every material possession I have to have not had to go through that.
Yes.
And all of work's been really supportive, my family's been really supportive, and I'm incredibly lucky because after all I'm here.
We were worried, weren't we?
There was a sticky few days.
I know.
But not to have gone through, and I'm going to hospital next month for further tests, not to have gone through the last 18 months, and I'm not even talking about long COVID. I know I suffer from long COVID, but that's almost by the by. It's the damage, and I'm lucky to be able to do my job. But all of the extra things that go with, exercise and sport,
yes.
and sport, not enjoy.
So you've lost
sport.
a gear or two.
Yeah, but I'm still the same, and I'm still able to. Luckily hold my J's.
Everybody's favourite political editor. But this is really important because people, and even now on the tube, the mask issue, which is attendant upon the vaccine issue, they often go hand in hand. It is young men, I notice, particularly, who seem to not be bothering to wear masks. And that idea that, well, if I get it, I'll be fine. We're seeing more and more people being reported in the news of having held that position almost until the point where they died of it. There is a so if you're 28 and you're very, very healthy and you catch it and you're not vaccinated, you could lose 2 gears for the rest of your life. Or at least for a significant number of years. I hope it isn't the case, but it still could be.
Still could be, and I don't have any idea of what the next 5-10 years how they would pan out. I mean, I can do my job and I can function and life goes on, but all of the things a number of the things that I did in my 30s, I really enjoyed doing, and I took a huge amount of value from, and held a huge amount of store by. Those. They don't apply in my 40s, and I'd give my right arm. I mean, it sounds like a cliche, but to not have gone through that, and I just sort of see this vaccine hesitancy amongst younger people, and people don't realise how lucky we are to have it. I mean, it's incredible to have that option of saying it's not going to completely take it away, and there will be people who still get ill, and it's not the complete silver bullet, but it is so close to being that that I just think why risk it? Just get it.
You're really speaking from the heart, aren't you?
Yeah, to have that option of not to have done, and those 6, that week in hospital stays with me at every turn. It doesn't go. It stays in the back of your mind. It doesn't go away.
Of course.
And it doesn't. The impact it has doesn't just. You don't just come out of hospital and everything switches back to normal.
Thank you for that.
That's all right.
Well, it's really, really important. And, of course, it plays into precisely the idea of very healthy people thinking they don't need the vaccine, which is what we'll be talking about next. However, an awful lot of people want to know what sort of times you were getting in these marathons that you ran.
I got my quickest one.
Yeah?
At 3:30.
Shut up.
Yeah, 3:30 something. 3:30.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah. I could swim. I could do... look, we're going to get into a situation of... Yeah, and I feel sad.
Of course.
I feel sad about it. I mean, I could...
Well, you've still done it. No one can ever take that achievement away from you.
But it's... I'd love to have the option of doing it again. And
well, that's something we've got in common then.
Yeah.
Neither of us will ever run a marathon.
3:33. But I don't. Yeah, I don't say it. I just say it as if you play sport and you enjoy competitive sport, or even if you just enjoy kicking a football about with your friends or going to the gym, and you just think, oh well, I don't need to get the vaccine. You're putting all of that at risk, and I can't stress to you enough. Just if you value it, if you hold store by it, if it's something you really enjoy doing, whether it's a Sunday
the more you value your health,
go and get the vaccine.
The more you should protect it.
The
more you should protect it. The more you value your health and your physicality, the more you should be vaccinated to protect it. I feel a bit silly now for having so much fun with that Ofcom ruling. I didn't realise you were going to be dropping emotion bombs all over my studio off the back of it, but I'm glad that you have. I really am. Take it easy. Theo Usherwood.